Hello there guys, Elita Legionarii here, and today I am bringing you a 2 versus 1 siege for Medieval 2 Total War. Another siege obviously, been doing a few of these of late. I'm in command of England, and defending the city is KochkaPanda, who is in command of Sicily, and I'm joined by SwedishLandSknekt, who is in command of the Byzantine Empire. Seeing as we're on his side of the field, let's have a look at Swede's force. He's got 4 peasants towing the siege gear, which are rams. It's only a town, so it's all we're allowed for equipment. No artillery, obviously. He has, let's see, he has 4 Trebizond archers with no upgrades, by the looks of things. We had lower money than usual for this fight. And then he's got a unit of arranging, no, I think it's 2 units of arranging guard there. Then he's got 1, 2, 3, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think I can see 4 dismounted Byzantine lancers, 2 dismounted Byzantine infantry, and 4 dismounted Latin con. I believe that's what his infantry force consists of, so a large infantry force. There was no cavalry allowed in this game. I believe I did that just for the sake of allowing basically more infantry into the fight, which is what I felt like at the time. So that's his force. Let's have a look at Panda's. He's got let's see, some Muslim archers, some Puvies crossbowmen, 2 Muslim archers, 3 Muslim archers, 1 Puvies crossbowman so far. Then he's got 2 dismounted Norman knights here, a pike militia there, and another dismounted Norman knight there, some sword and bucklers, pike militia, sword and bucklers, Norman knights, sword and buckler, pike militia, Puvies crossbowmen, pikes, and Norman knights. So mixture of Norman knights, pikemen, and some missile units basically. They'll be heavily upgraded because he had, I think, what was it? I think it was he had 25k and we had 12.5k each, I think. I might be wrong though, it was a few days ago, I can't remember the specifics, but I think that was what we had for money. My force consists of 4 peasants like Swedes, and they're towing in my siege gear. I have 4 units of feudal knights. These are not upgraded, as you can see they've got the chain armour. I actually rather like the looks of the chainmail armour, even though they're not as good without the plate. So that's 4 of those. So they've got no upgrades. And then I have 1 yeoman archer, and I believe it was 4 longbows. I think 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4 longbowmen. I haven't put defense upgrades on them, so they look like they're peasants, but they are longbowmen. But I've put attack upgrades and experience upgrades to make them do more damage with their archer fire. And then I have got 4 fully upgraded armoured swordsmen. Well, not fully, but they're like got all the sword and shield upgrades, so they're the strongest section of my army. So that's my English army. Let us begin. Oh, sorry, I thought I was on triple speed for a moment. So all we're going to start opening up with is just making points of entry. We can be a little more careless, so I don't have to worry about Cav coming out and getting at them. And I'm going to try and see if I can get him to basically shoot up some of my peasants with his missiles here. I'm not bothered about his Puvies crossbowmen because they had to fire at an over the top trajectory, and that is not good for crossbowmen. But what me and Swedes decide on doing is coming around to this section of the battle so that we can cover each other's flank with missile fire. At this stage we can see flaming shots coming down on peasants on Swedes' ram. This is a good idea because you can destroy the ram that way. You can see it on fire. So he's just gone into loose formation here to cover his men. I don't tend to worry about it too much, to be honest, because usually you have plenty of peasants to get you through and forward enough. And but it is a good idea if you think you're under plenty of fire, but I usually don't worry about it, to be honest. Just depends. And then you can basically bash your way through is what I'm trying to do here, what he's trying to do there. It's always good to have at least 4, that way you've got plenty of places to get in, and you don't want to get yourself clustered up, which therefore means you get clumped up and then get shot at lots in the flank, so not really worth it there. But he's got his guys forward and he's going to start knocking them in. I'm going to start doing the same. So what I decided to do here is I'm trying to hit his Norman Knights. I've already killed 8 of these men here, as you can see with my archers, so I've brought these guys up to the walls and they're going to start firing their shots in as well. So, and this is the great thing with England, obviously, is the longbowmen. England is very good in sieges, both defensively and aggressively, because of the longbowmen. They are, and same with France. France is also very good at it because of its missile units as well. And they have both have good heavy infantry options, but missile options are superb. And I mean, muskets, gunpowder units are not very good in sieges because they tend to be glitchy, but in medieval twos. Yeah, sorry, what am my line of thinking? I lost my line of thinking. But England and factions like England and France that have long-range bows and stuff with armor-piercing damage are very good in sieges, both defensively and aggressively. That's what I was thinking of. So I'm getting flank shots on a lot of his guys here. As you can see, this Norman Knight's already down to 47, and this unit will be very heavily upgraded. I would endeavour to say it's probably got all sword upgrades and shield upgrades, and probably up to two chevrons of experience. So it means it's going to be able to trash most of our infantry, especially when he's going to mingle them with pikes. You can see what he's going to do. He's going to use his pikes to stall, and as you can see, he's put his swordsman in with his pikemen. That is a really powerful combination, and that's what he's trying to do here. So what we're going to do to kind of compensate for that, because our troops will not be able to actually breach that, simply because, or they probably could, but not without massive losses. So, and that'll be dangerous for us. So in order to compensate for that, what we're going to do is we're pulling our forces out this way. Swedes will start doing this in a moment. What we're going to do is he's going to put a little bit of pressure down this section just to keep some troops busy over here. As you can see, he's already started doing that with his peasants, but they're getting destroyed. I'm keeping my peasants here in the hopes I can bait a few more shots out of him, get him to waste a few bit more ammunition. I'm not too worried if my peasants get destroyed. What we're actually going to do is we're going to put our missile units. He's going to put his out here, and got mine out here already. And what we're going to do is we're going to I'll be shooting the backs of these ones while Swedes attacks them, and Swedes will shoot the backs of the ones I will be attacking. That's how we're going to work this. So I'm bringing in some of my feudal knights now, as you can see, and I've still got these guys here, and I'm just using them to kind of soak up some shots or keep some units busy or anything like that. Basically just distract and try and take away some of Panda's forces from the vicinity so that we can use them elsewhere and have overwhelming numbers in that vicinity. As you can see, Swedes has moved in to the city. At the moment he's still over here. We hadn't yet orchestrated the plan yet, but as you can see, a lot of missile fire coming in here on these Sicilian troops, and he is killing quite a lot of them because they're very clustered. And troopers and archers, they're a very good archer unit, and much like my longbowmen, just because they got no armour upgrades, they look kind of like a crummy peasant level, but believe me, they're pretty good archers, although mine are better because they've got an armour piercing trait, and they will do a better job of it. However, my angle is not so good here. As you can see, I've got this unit down to 32, which is good because that's nearly killed half of a very, very strong unit. At this stage I think I'll end up changing my shots, but I don't have great angles at the moment. And I'm getting into a bit of a missile scrap with these Muslim archers here. Muslim archers are pretty good, solid attack, a very capable archer unit, but not got the armor piercing trait like my guys do. So that's why English and French archer units are the best as far as archer, like longbow or bowman kind of units go, because of that armor piercing trait. So I'm bringing up my feudal knights here, and I want to start my engagement very soon. I'm not going to get them to that sort of deep formation, so I'm going to send them in on wave here. So as you can see, my feudal knights going here. Now I don't expect them to be able to win this fight, however they should be able to hold it up for quite a while and exhaust these guys, giving me time to put my reserve, much more stronger armoured swordsmen in after. Swedes is now coming in here with his Byzantine troops. He's got a lot of troops, but these Norman knights probably are still well upgraded and should be able to destroy especially these Byzantine infantry and Byzantine lancers. But the Swedes, all he has to do is have lots of them, and with his missile units he should actually be able to take this fight over time. Byzantines have got a pretty good mix of infantry units to choose from. So as you can see, I am now pushing into this fight, but because his pikemen are kind of stalling me out and his swordsmen are mixed, it's proving to be quite difficult. But Swedes, I think at this stage, is starting to bring his archer units, or is going to very soon. Yeah, here we go, he's starting to bring them over now after we kind of orchestrated our plan to concentrate on this area and try and knock it out, and then we can go into the centre while he kind of holds some forces back here, and I can do some stalling with my peasants out over here. That's the general basic plan we were going for. At this stage I'm using my missile fire here on these guys, but basically because the angle, a lot of my shots are probably not coming in at the best angles here because of these kind of structures in the way. But as you can see, Swedes is pulling his Latin con, which are his best units, this way. This is a very good unit. This is kind of like chivalric knight level, feudal knight level kind of unit. Very, very capable piece of swordsman there. And I've got some more of my feudal knights here. I believe I've got all 4 of them at this stage. Now they are probably getting a little clumped here, but there's nothing I can do about that because you can't move them any further around here. But if I don't have all of them in the vicinity, I'll have a hard time breaching through these guys with just the few I have. But at this stage, this is how we're going to work. The Swede is moving this way, so he's going to start shooting the guys in the flank here, and these ones that are blocking out his dismounted Latin con, I will have my archers now focusing onto them, as you can see. So that way we're kind of mutually supporting each other, and that does make for a much better battle, because otherwise this would be very, very difficult to breach these guys. Because yeah, even though there are 2 of us here and we've got numbers, you do have to compensate for the large upgrades, larger amount of upgrades that are on Panda's forces. But the way to compensate for that is not to fight in piecemeal engagements. Instead, focus your superiority of numbers so that you can defeat the opponent. Because if you try and fight them 1-for-1 in sections, you often find that they'll destroy you just because their troops have got more upgraded. Because you have to remember that we've only got 12.5 and he's got 25,000, so his troops are probably more or less fully upgraded, whereas are not. So to compensate for that, we are best to work our troops as close together as possible to make use of our extra numbers and strengths. And this is where England is also very, very good, because with its armor-piercing archery units, it can overcome those really heavy upgrades. So Swedes is doing quite well over here, because he's getting quite a lot of support from my guys here. On my side, my feudal knights are not as well upgraded as his Latin con, so I'm having a harder time, but I am got some of my armoured swordsmen coming into breach. Over here, he tried to outflank me with some of his forces here. I sent some of my armoured swordsmen to get into them. These sword and bucklers are a capable unit, but they're not going to be able to compete with armoured swordsmen, especially when my ones are actually upgraded. So I should be able to take those guys down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send these peasants, and this longbow is out of ammunition, so I'm going to start using it as infantry to support fights. Swedes is fighting his way over here, as you can see. These Norman knights hold him up for a very long time, but he will eventually get through them, although it will take some time. But as you can see, he's still got several reserves of infantry left, and that's what his big infantry horde allowed for. I only had 8 heavy infantry units. He had about, I think he had about 12 or 13 or something, but I had more archers and with higher upgrades on them, basically because that's more appropriate for England. The Byzantines are best to use a lot of infantry in conjunction with medium level archers, usually, unless there's more money to work with. Swedes is going to start breaching this gate. This way we can come in here and flank both of them, basically. I sent up some of my peasants here to get rid of those Muslim archers, and I'm going to start bringing in my infantry in a moment so that we can start coming in on the flanks here. So we are steadily grinding our way in here. It's taken a while though, because of just how well upgraded his troops are. But Panda, if I had been Panda, I would have focused more on this, just defending this town square, because what that would have meant that when we were trying to attack him with our archers, while his flanks could have still been exposed, the buildings would have been more in the vicinity, which means we would have had a shot over them, which as a result always reduces your accuracy by the accuracy of their missile units, whereas here there's a much more sort of flat trajectory for both of us to fire on, and less obstructions, and that makes our shots more accurate. So I personally find town defence with this kind of build that Panda's got to be pretty effective. This is the kind of, was kind of setup I was kind of going for in that Teutonic siege the other day. More kind of alleyways like this, where I could use my pikemen and protect their flanks and their fronts from missile fire much easier. But of course, it was much more open. This is obviously more of a town, obviously not a castle, but castles still do have their alleyways and things. But this kind of build plays into this defensive strategy better than the one I had the other day. It still worked the other day, but not as efficiently as it could. But we've got really good angles here with our archer units, and that is making a difference. As you can see here, Swedes starts pulling in some Byzantine infantry. I'm now bringing in my general's unit and some of my armoured guys here. Over here, what I'm going to do is, in a moment, I'm going to send, once my archers are out of ammunition, I'm going to send them around here, and I'm going to see if I can draw some of his troops to fight me over here, so that we can again have a much higher superiority of numbers in this area, and that as a result will now allow us to overcome the superior quality of his troops. So basically what we're trying to do is just get that kind of numerical superiority going in the area where it matters the most to compensate for that loss, and if we can achieve that, we should be able to overcome his army. And as you can see, we're starting to pour our troops in here. I've got my armoured swordsmen coming in, and these guys are essentially outflanked. As you can see, these Latin con have taken a fair beating, as have my feudal knights. It's just how difficult it can be to breach that pike infantry combination, especially when they've got extra quality upgrades on them. It can be pretty difficult that way. But eventually, now that they're outflanked, we should be able to grind them down. It would have been a lot harder if we had not had the missile units covering each other's flank. But this enables us to kind of work our way through them steadily over time. But this is what I really kind of like. England's quite popular. I notice a lot of the experienced players, and myself included, tend to have a habit of using England in sieges, both attacking and defensive. It's very, very good because of its archers. They're very useful in a siege, and it's got quite good infantry as well. Feudal knights, armoured swordsmen are very, very capable. It's not the best in terms of infantry. There are other factions that do it better, but it's definitely capable, but it's very, very good in terms of archery and missile kind of units. Only France could compete with it in this capacity of having long range bows. And in that regard, it makes it a very good faction for that kind of use. Swedes, I noticed of late, has been using a lot of big infantry builds with variations. I noticed he used like Norway the other day, and he's using the Byzantines here. It's a good combination that way. Having lots of infantry is a good idea in a siege, because you usually have to attack in waves, which is very important, that you have enough troops to complete your wave attacks. If you can do that, it's good to have reserves and things like that, and that allow you to steadily kind of always have some little extra piece on top, sort of a little backup to overcome your opponent. So it's a very good idea to bring lots of infantry units. I was not able to do so obviously because I wanted those missile units, and my missile units were more expensive and more upgraded than his. But when you work it in together, his build with my build is a pretty good team combo. So over here, I'm starting to pull my longbowmen around, and I'm fighting some of his infantry units. And basically all I'm doing with them here is I'm going to try and get him to bring more troops in. He's going to bring this unit of Norman Knights over. That's a really elite hardcore unit, and if he gets distracted fighting longbowmen, he's going to have less in the area to defend over here. I think Swedes is just breaching through over here. His big horde of infantry, he's got all sorts of infantry types, and he keeps his reserves well, and he always had them fighting in waves, but he had plenty of missile support, because otherwise, even by fighting in waves without missile support, they wouldn't have been able to defeat those superior infantry units. So very important that he had missile support where he needed it, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to do it. But he is experienced enough in siege to know how that works. So he's just caught a few of these puppies crossbowmen. He should be able to grind them down, at which point he will just come around here and come up here and go into the town square, while we all kind of smash our way down through here. As you can see, we're kind of fighting our way forward to get the last of these guys. My archers here are quite a cool thing too with archers. They have this little mallet, so it's kind of like an armor pierce weapon. Don't expect too much out of these guys, but they are capable of going into a melee fight, and I mean they're not going to succeed against these Norman Knights, but what they're going to do is stall it, and he's going to have less to defend his town square basically against our much larger and more important infantry units, and that was the whole point. Obviously Panda knows at this point he's not going to be able to win, but he has put up one hell of a good fight. So we're just pouring our infantry in here, and we are going to finish off what's left of these Sicilian troops. And I think, yep, so Swedes has broken through over here, and now he's going to come round and outflank, and we're going to seize the town square, as you can no doubt see. So yeah, I mean, it's definite advantages and disadvantages to both teams here. Even though Panda's by himself, his troops are a great deal stronger than ours because of the upgrades and the extra money. So to attack him in piecemeal or in waves without being in support of one another would only play into Panda's strengths. So when you're 2 versus 1, or even 3 versus 2, or I don't know, like 4 versus 3, or whatever, you know, like the defenders are going to have more power on their troops. So to compensate for their superiority, you have to make sure you use your numbers. So it's a very good idea to have a build that's orientated around extra numbers, but do have a few elite units, and then attack and control waves, but have units in support and work together to try and attack in areas where you're fighting together, so that way you can still have reserve waves, because one guy might have 3 infantry in one area and then his teammate might have another 3 there, so there's a total of 6 there in the vicinity, but they still have a bunch more in reserve. Instead of fighting like 2 separate areas of the field by yourself, because that'll only work into the defender's superior troops quality. So it's always a good idea to actually you know, to make use of those extra numbers, because even though there's 2 of us, his troops, if we fought him kind of individually 1-for-1 fights, he would win because his troops are better upgraded, and Panda is an experienced enough player to be able to do it easily anyway. Another advantage too with teamwork, with 2 people, providing you can have good teamwork, is the fact that you have 2 minds or 2 brains working at it, so you can kind of team up your efforts together to take out one person who's on their own. So there are both definite advantages and disadvantages to 2v1s, because I mean the person on their own can have their own sole battle plan, and I mean if the people who are together on a team can't work together, there's a very good chance that they'll lose. I mean that's not an issue for me or Swedes, because we have done so many total war battles together and done so many different you know, gaming types together now for a long time, that you know it's easy for us to work together to get to win a battle, or to agree on a battle plan, and we both take ideas from one another and help each other where we need. It's easy to do, but if you get like an ally who's not willing to do that, or you can't kind of work with him, then the fact that there's 2 of you really makes no difference, because you won't work together enough, and the defending player will win because their troops are better, as long as they're smart enough to know what they're doing. So, and facing someone like Panda, it's an absolute must to know what they're trying, what he's trying to do, because he's a very experienced player of medieval too. So definite strengths to both being on your own and working together. Just depends on how you kind of work things out. So I've put in the rest of my knights over here because we've broken through the centre, and I'm just going to take out the rest of these Norman knights here. And I think I'll just go to double speed actually, because it's about to end. I'll go to triple actually, and I think so. There you go. It's basically about to end now. So a really good game, and we managed to win this one. I mean, look at Panda's kills, 1,244, and that's what I'm talking about, because he has so much more money than us. His men are that much stronger than ours. So attacking him individually at points on your own, or if for instance, if I'd say I come in over here and I was attacking over here, and Swedes was attacking over here, and we didn't combine our efforts anywhere, there's a very good chance that Panda would have defeated both of us. So when you combine your efforts together and use your numbers and numerical superiority in the vicinity of a battle to take control of one section of the battle, that enables you to overcome that qualitative superiority of your opponent. So I hope some of those tips help any of you newer players, and that applies to any total war game. It doesn't just apply to Medieval 2, it applies to every single one of them. Make sure you kind of combine your efforts. I have 597 kills with 31 captures, and Swedes has 547 with 31 captures. So we basically split the kills completely evenly between the 2 of us. My highest kills goes to my armoured swordsman. I think, no, my longbowman, 90, 56, 79. Very well worth upgrading. They've got armour piercing trait. Them, Scots Guard, French archers, I think it's the Scots Guard, French archers, Yeoman archers, retinue longbowmen, and longbowmen are the 5 units, archer, like bow-armed units that have armour piercing. All the other archer units in the game do not have it. So they're significantly better archers than other units. It's not to say other archer units are not good, because they certainly are, but these ones are the best. Those 5 I named. And then crossbowmen all have missile armour piercing traits. So that's why when you use England it's very good both defensively and aggressively because of these excellent bow units. Let's see, what else got? Let's see, so the Feudal Knights, they didn't do that great. But I'm not surprised. Some of them, 35, that's pretty good. 21, 27, yeah, they did their job, what they needed to do. They weren't upgraded and they were up against much more upgraded troops. I'm not surprised that was the result. The Armoured Swordsman, this one got 72. This one got 72. They did well. They were upgraded though, so they needed to do well. I'm not sure what Swedes would have got, but I would imagine a similar kind of mix around his board as well as mine. So, good game to Swedes and Panda. I'll link Swedes' channel in the description. So I'm getting tongue-tied. Do be sure to drop by his channel and check it out. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. And yeah, be sure to leave comments, guys. Love reading comments. It's always good to hear feedback about what you think of the battles and the commentary and just whatever, guys. You know, leave some feedback. So that'd be much appreciated. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon next time.